The RB20 is officially launched and has lots of things that are a bit curious happening with this car. Many of them refer to W14 Mercedes car from last year, including an air intake in the side pod. Very similar to that of the Mercedes used running in the shakedown. Impression it gives us is that this car, he's hiding a lot of things and he doesn't. We can actually pinpoint what exactly goes to Bahrain in the first race of the year. One thing seems certain, folks. Are you joking? That you can now deliver the cup for Red Bull. And to be honest, it looks like this is the car that already unbeatable era last year is full of new solutions, and many of them inspired in its rivals. Let's start by analyzing the front spoiler. If you look closely, despite being rendered images, automatically you realize that while rivals copied the wing front of RB19, Red Bull returned to use the wing with the beak fixed on the four wing flaps, something that resembles the RB18. Looking at one of the leaked photos gives us a better idea of what a nose fatter in front, much bigger than last year. Plus, it's an airfoil front, very flat, and with that you can see that they are trying direct this air towards something specific part of the car. Now here on the side, something very interesting. Notice that there is an air inlet that resembles the air intake in the side pod of last year's W14 from Mercedes. Only that Red Bull seems to have gone well beyond in this. If you look closely, this looks like an air duct, something similar to the one Ferrari only uses. The air duct, Ferrari passes inside and releases its air in the upper part on top of the lid engine. This Red Bull solution seems also be an air duct, with the difference that air is expelled to the rear of the car coming out here through this end. Probably Red Bull is trying to gain more downforce, directing more air to the rear of the car, something very important, because that air speaks directly to the car. Diffuser looks like they took the Mercedes zeroed solution and joined the Ferrari duct solution, apparently a very clever solution on the part of Red Bull, because if you look closely at entrance that will receive this air, it is relatively quite large, which consequence will generate a large flow of air to the rear region. If you look at the Ferrari duct, you will see that the input is much smaller, and consequently the airflow will also apparently be. It seems like something brilliant, not to mention the details that have not yet been presented, and that we will only see in the Great Bahrain Prize, because as we know, the teams hide the game a lot in launches, so as not to leave room for other teams copy what they are making. Another solution that Red Bull brought, and is also calling a lot the attention, is the shape of the engine cover. Again, drawing inspiration from what Mercedes brought with the W14 of the year past. Now the engine cover has a design that resembles a cannon, and that runs along the edge of the car until you reach the back by the face that Christian Horner did at the presentation from the RB20. You can expect them manage to extract some performance of this in relation to side pods, are very similar to the last year from Red Bull, but also with some inspirations from Mercedes. He still remains with the fall that directs air to the rear of the car with small adjustments in this region. However, the most curious thing about it all, it's really this air intake here that Red Bull brought good solutions, interesting, and that we will only know about the real potential of this when this car is to the track. But when Max said to their rivals that it would be good for them to find a second of performance, it seems that now that makes sense. I hope have good competitiveness during this year, and that the teams get closer to Red Bull about to fight for victories. Otherwise we will have a championship that will be a reflection of last year. Now, I want to know what you thought of this one new Red Bull car. Tell us comments, and don't forget, leave your like and subscribe to channel. Until the next race.